the Glad Winter. And on their name, put some respect. Yeah. I think it's time for reality check. Yeah, reality check. Gotta get you back on cold. Reality check. For the young and the old. Reality check. Yeah, the heal your soul. Reality check. Get ready for the show.
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Ow! Where's Diddy? I gotta be honest with you. I mean, Eve. What are we gonna do? We gotta talk about Diddy, and what's going on in the back room, baby.
It's a lot going on in the back room. Well, according to all of the eyewitness testimony, like I guess people are going and actually sitting in the courtroom and watching the trial and then reporting about it online. So that's kind of different, not what we normally see. But
yeah, they're making it the trial of the century, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, you know, it would be a trial, you know, black man, sexual escapades, raping white women. You know, I mean, it is so American. It is so American. It is American to the T. You know, the whole idea of the white woman around here and all of these black predators just waiting to just grab them and just rape them. You know, I mean, when I was in college, it was the white women trying to rape me. But I will admit that
they definitely propagandize that, right? Like the big black boogeyman is coming to take your precious flower. But then all the while they're doing all sorts of different things to their daughters and sisters and wives and moms, and it's very strange.
I know, like somebody the other day told me that they went to Amsterdam. In Amsterdam, you can have sex with your daughter and stuff. It's crazy.
Wow.
You know, I mean, hell, you know, it's very complicated out there. I think about when I was in college and all those white girls throwing themselves at me. But see, I came from Chicago, and all my mama talked about when I was growing up was Emmett Till. I didn't want to be a damn Emmett Till. So you know, I mean, hey. So what if they used to call me Super Bod? They're Super Bod. You know, I mean, I couldn't help it if I was a handsome, muscular, athletic brother. Now I'm a fat, settled brother, you know. But I mean, we all go through this. You're an athlete too, so you know how it is. But what I love about you, Eve, is that you still got your videos where you got your weights and crushing it, baby. You know, I don't have any videos like that. I just got sit down videos on the couch. So it's a little bit more complicated. Let me see. We got how you doing? How we doing, Spirit Wonder? Epic Eric, what up though? What up though? You know, often Eve has connection trouble, but she'll be coming back. But you know, birthdays are very important. Not so much to me, but I know that when I was growing up, it was 10 of us in our family. And because it was 10 of us in our family, I don't know, my mother she didn't make a big deal about birthdays. So I wasn't too much of a birthday guy. I really didn't really think about birthdays too much until I started working. And, you know, when I started working, most of the jobs I worked as a teacher, or even when I worked in factories, you know, they always gave you your birthday off. That was your personal holiday. And your personal holiday and your personal holiday is a personal holiday is what you would get. Eve tells me that her router is having trouble because it's storming in her area, so hopefully she'll come back on. But anyway, so back in the day, you just have to deal with what you can deal with and stuff. But I enjoyed the fact in the sense is that other people they love their birthdays. My wife, she used to love birthdays. She made sure that all of my children, I had 5 boys and 1 girl. She made sure that their birthdays were always celebrated. So I mean, hey, I went along with it, even though in the sense is that I wasn't too much into it because I guess my mom, my dad, they didn't make a big deal about birthdays. We had 6 children, but it was 10 of us. And so then, I mean, a birthday was just another day. I mean, I really didn't think a birthday was so important until I got a job. Then when I got a job, I wanted to have that day off from work. So, I mean, hey, I was definitely going to take that personal day. And so it was a day in the sense that you could get beyond, your 2 weeks. Most jobs you had that 2 weeks vacation, and then plus you had your birthday. So most of the time you wanted to take that birthday so that you could, experience it. You could have that fun, and you could, do things that you enjoyed. And so that was something that I found very apropos. But over the years, in a sense, I found that you should respect birthdays. I think because in a way, a birthday is kind of like a holy day. What do you mean? Well, I mean that it's the day you were born. It's the day that you came into the world. So in a way, it's kind of like your origin, isn't it? It's kind of like your origin. So that when your birthday comes, it's something that you need to really need to think about and stuff. You really need to have confidence in it. And that's uh, that's something that's very important. But I uh, I just always found it as kind of just another day. But then when I got married, and then my wife, she, her family, they really practice birthdays a lot, and so since they practice birthdays a lot, she wanted to have that tradition. She wanted to have that tradition with the kids. What is this? Spirit Wonder says, right, righteous birthdays is one personal holiday. Yeah, it is. It is one's personal holiday. It is our personal holiday. And so it's something that you should celebrate. But again, I think it's how you're raised. My children is a big deal. They go out. I mean, my wife made it a big deal. I mean, my wife would want to celebrate my birthday. I could care less. But I'd want to take her out so she could enjoy her birthday. You know. But the most important thing is having fun. Yeah, today I got some books from Yoshimar the Genius. And he sent me his book, The Blossoms. He also sent me his book, The Gang Gang. You can buy these books at Amazon.com, and you might want to check them out too. They're by Yoshimar the Genius. And so this is his book, The Gang Gang. And then a really beautiful book. This is a really beautiful book is this book right here. It's called The Harp. It's called The Harp. It's called Follow Your Harp. And it's a very beautiful book. And what makes it so good is that these books have beautiful illustrations. And the thing is this is that these are books that you can get for your children, and they can be able in a sense to see themselves. And I think what I like about his books is that his books in a sense are written in a way that is down to earth. They're so beautifully illustrated. I mean, Yoshimod is a genius, and because he's such a genius, he does so much to give information to our children, and so try to get his book. It's called Follow Your Harp. His other book is called The Gang Gang, and of course, The Blossom. All these books can be ordered from Amazon.com, and they're books in a sense that can help you to really be able to give your kids a beautiful, in a sense, book that's illustrated, and that can help them to really, in a sense, see themselves. Because see, I think that's one of the things that maybe that's one of the reasons why people celebrate their birthday. Maybe because your birthday, maybe a birthday is important because maybe a birthday gives you an identity. You know, it's maybe because your birthday gives you an identity, and maybe because it gives you an identity, maybe that's what makes it such a very important personal holiday. Stuff like that. You know,
Hey,
hey, what's up?
man, it's been storming here, and my internet kind of just knocked out. So my apologies, but I'm back.
Yeah, I believe your birthday was last week, so this is kind of different, So, but hey, it's still out there. But I was just mentioning the fact is that birthdays are kind of a righteous day in a way, because birthdays give us our own individual platform. It gives us a day that we should all take. And I remember back when I was a teacher, I had my sick days, but then I always had my birthday, so the birthday didn't count. Then also you could take your religious holidays. So I wanted to make sure I got all my holidays in.
No, that makes sense. I've morphed or evolved or what's the word when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly? What's that called? That's a
metamorphosis, not a metamorphosis, but
it's not a metamorphosis, but that's the word that's coming to my head. But I guess it's an evolution of sorts. But my understanding and appreciation of birthdays has changed over the years.
In what way?
Well,
In what way?
My birthday falls on Mother's Day every few years. Not every year, because Mother's Day is not a holiday that is celebrated on the same day every year. It's not a day like Christmas. So it changes. And then, well, if your birthday's on Mother's Day, then who gets the attention on your birthday, right? So,
But what did it really matter? Because I mean,
it kind of did. And to my mom, I know you're listening. It kind of didn't, because for what it's worth, I was a very challenging child, and while my academics never took any huge hits, I asked a lot of questions. I might have talked back a lot more than I should have, and maybe not doing anything on my birthday has just been kind of a thing since I didn't do a lot on my birthdays. And then, well, it's Mother's Day anyway, so let's worry about your mom. And I didn't live with my mom, so it's even more of an outlier situation than you would expect. But now I love birthdays, and I think it's because I have children that I can program, and we can do it how I want to do it until they decide that they don't want to do it how I want to do it. But at that point, hopefully they are paying their own bills in their own way. And
that's I hear you. You said how you want to do it. That's interesting. What do you mean by that? I'm being nosy,
No, it's okay. I just mean that parenting should really be more hands-on, I think that a lot of people don't do as much as they should, and then they have a lot of issues or complaints about how things are going. And then I also know that each generation feels like they are going to do it better than the last generation, or I'm going to fix this, or I'm going to do better here, whatever it is, because of course we're going to do it better than our parents did. It's the old way of thinking that we're new age, whatever.
That was my son. my granddaughter, Kayla, she had a spot in the living room, and it was real. It was where she would always draw, and it was really messed up. And so then it was really a spot that was just so where she just drew all over it. And so then I said that's very interesting, D. I said you got that she's got that on the wall. He said yes. And then one day I came over and it was clean. I said, what happened? What happened, man? He said, I whooped her ass. I said, okay. Okay. I said, I thought you said you wasn't gonna whip your kids like I whipped y'all and stuff. Yeah, that's what I said. But I said because she wasn't that bad. Well, anyway,
that's real. That's exactly what I'm talking about, though. A hard head makes a soft ass. I think we had a show a couple, a little while back about our sayings and things that we've passed on. And I think all of that matters because I didn't want to be a whooping parent either. But then earlier today, I heard Molly, my boss, he was talking to them about ADD and ADHD, and he said that they just need some BELT. And I died because most of them probably haven't had a spanking for real or a whooping. It's a gentle parenting. We want to talk about these big feelings we have and these big emotions inside. And it's like, I get it, but then are we trying to take all day or are we trying to get something done? You talk about the wall that one day was clean. It was probably, it switched behavior. You go outside, get you a switch that behavior, and then everything, the math is mathing again. So
one of my sons, he used to always bring switches home and not put them up on the refrigerator. And when he would do something bad, I whoop him with him. Wait. I brought that for you to whoop them with. Yeah, okay, thank you. Why? This is it. This is off the subject, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but is that my mother and them and my father and them, they didn't appreciate you telling on your brothers and sisters. They would punish them, but they would find a way to punish you too. They didn't want you to be a squealer on your family. They didn't want you to talk about what was going on in the hood. You weren't supposed to tell on nobody. That it was a deliberate thing. I don't know if today if people still teach their kids not to be tricks or be squealers, but back in the day, your parents would whip your butt if you talk too much.
I think that's real. I don't know if these things are being passed down as much as I know we're trying to pass some things down. And then, some people wonder why their child is so grown. I don't want to say a child is fast. I think that's wrong because that means that you're looking at them for something else. Like they're looking for it, you're looking at them for it. No. But maybe they're acting a little grown for their age. Maybe they're using words that they don't really know and could imply other things. And maybe they've seen some other things, but still, children don't act on such thoughts without it being introduced to them without some sort.
But the funniest thing when I was growing up is that the fast girls were not the easy girls.
So then make that math. Clive.
Yeah, make it math. Make it math because people would say that so and so was fast, but she wasn't easy. It was always a red girl, always a red bone girl. Like Cassie and them. It was always a red. I'm not telling the truth. The neighborhood promiscuous girl was usually light skinned, and she was easy. But the thing is this is that they weren't easy with me. I don't know. I mean, I want share the wealth. Not
No,
really.
he was a fly guy with the wordsmith and
I was a wordsmith, but the thing is that I didn't believe in trains and stuff. I believed in the senses that I just had I never wanted to be what was called a gash man. I never want. It was too easy for me because back then I was tall, I was handsome, I knew how to talk, but I didn't want to use, for some reason I didn't want to use girls. And I didn't want to just have sex with them because I'll be honest, I felt they wanted my body. I felt they wanted my body. Is that weird?
No, they probably did want your body.
But they wanted my body. I mean, damn, you can't have my body. I mean, I wanted to be the other way around. For much of my early years, I wanted to love somebody. I was tired of people always wanting me and loving me. I wanted to love somebody. I prayed to God, and He brought me my wife. But I don't know. I don't know why, but it seems as though being a Sagittarius, for some reason, being a Sagittarius, you're supposed to be a whore. Sagittarius men and Virgo men are supposed to be whores, and most women always feel that a Sagittarius guy or a Virgo guy is always ready to have sex with them, no matter how ugly they are. Or that we're just some horny goats or something. I don't know.
That's crazy. And that's unfair because what a plight. Oh yeah. Okay. So look, before we got cut off, I wanted to start the show talking about this because.
I know you're not this country illegally. You are going home. Simple as that. We do not have unlimited resources.
I think a lot of Americans
to take care of other people.
There's a hell of a lot of people, other than the
first,
black
Anna.
people who were brought here as slaves who came to this country illegally.
They're not the same as black people who were brought here against our will.
That's exactly what I just said. I said there is a lot of people
There's a big
than the black people.
There is a big difference.
That's exactly what I just said.
There's a big difference.
That's exactly what I just said, Sir Michael. You can act indignant. That's exactly what I just said.
Let me just share Michael.
Other than the black
Anna and share Michael.
There are a lot of people from
Share
many,
Michael. I think
many
you
countries
actually
that came
misheard
here
what
illegally.
I think you misheard what she said.
No, he purposely misheard.
She said.
I purposely misheard. So now you're in my
Share
brain?
Michael, listen to me for just a second.
Is that where we're going?
You think
Michael,
I would say I who have advocated
Anna,
for black people my entire life would say something like that?
Anna,
Give me
because
a damn
you've
break.
advocated for black people, great.
Stop.
Congratulations. Last time I checked, I'm black. You're not.
Okay, share Michael.
That's right. I'm Latino, and my people are being racially profiled.
It is.
And do I have to remind you the history of my people?
Share
Do
Michael.
you want to go there?
No, I don't.
Do you really want to go there?
I know the history.
Raul, we're going to go to break. Raul Reyes, thank you very much for joining us. Everybody else, hang tight. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Yes, we'll be right back. And we had to come right back. And see, that's the thing. That's the thing that really, Tariq Nasheed and some of the other brothers. That's what we really had to just admit is that, we was always front for them. But we have to now say that if you got to go back, I mean your competition. You've already shown that we tried to in a sense, cloak for you. We tried to in a sense, be there to support you. But now, since we went through this process of delineation, we see that you don't really care about us. You don't really care about us. You're not really supporting us. We help you guys get over here, and you can be a little brown skin, or you can even be even you can be in black, amino black. They say me no black, you black, and so then we don't really want to cloak for these people anymore. We don't, they're tethers, and we don't want them to tether on us anymore. Family, I'm not saying that all immigrants or all people from the diaspora are tethers, but there are people who have come over here and they're trying to cosplay, FBA, so that they can get the benefits, but then at the same time, they want to knock us down, or they want to imply that we're not worthy, and that's not really fair.
No, it's not fair at all. We're talking about birthdays, and I saw that clip of Ana Navarro. I think that's her name, and she's crashing out because her people are being oppressed, and you know, she knows the plight of our people, and it's like, okay, so this is the Black and Brown coalition that's supposed to be there, that's not really there, and now that they are getting the nigga treatment in a way that they haven't been, because they were getting the nigga treatment, they weren't, you know, they weren't white, they weren't passing either. It's just this weird buffer class.
But they're still not getting the nigga treatment, because the nigga treatment, they would have grabbed them and they would have took them and they would have hung them, you know, like they did like they're still doing around the country. They would have took them and hung them. They wouldn't have politely put them on a plane and then gave them crackers and a Coke on the way to Venezuela. Now they wouldn't have did that with us, because no, that wasn't the way it was. And so then the thing is, this is that I wanted to feel bad, but I couldn't feel bad for them being deported. I couldn't feel bad for them because
I think they're getting deported with decency. That's what Democrats wanted. They wanted them to be treated with decency, and I think that crackers, the Cracker Jack box, the little ginger snap cookies or peanuts and a Coke and a smile is more than we've gotten, and they've done less. But, you know, people are saying that they're getting snatched up and not getting due process, and that's not right. And I guess I just don't understand the Constitution that well. I would love for like 2 years to go to law school and then, you know, maybe.
But see, there is no due process if you're illegal. You came in here illegally. The anchor baby is fine, because the anchor baby by the 14th Amendment has birthright citizenship. But the point is this, is that why am I going to front for you? And you want to be white. So if you want to be white, you should want white people to help you. See, this is the way it's always been. It's always been like this since I was a kid. Right. If you had Black people, white people, Puerto Ricans, and Mexicans living in the city, the Black people and Puerto Ricans are going to vote the same. Black people and Puerto Ricans are going to vote the same. But those Latinos and Asians, they're not going to support you. They're not going to be standing tall towards you, you know, and things like that. I look at Mayor Johnson. Mayor Johnson, yes, a lot of people, they're mad at him, and they're talking about, you know, why is he trying to help the immigrants? Look at all those millions of dollars they was giving to help the immigrants. Get out of here. That would be stupid. They would get, you know, President Biden was giving them all that damn money. Every time I go to the gas station, I see a Mexican. He say, hello. I say, hola. He say, hola. And he's getting in a 2025 SUV. You know, and hola. Hello. I mean, can you say anything else? Hello. You know, I want to whip your ass. Hello.
They don't
know what the hell I'm saying. They don't know what the hell I'm saying. But they was able to go to that car dealership, and they was able to take in there that card they gave him as an illegal immigrant, and he's able to buy that new car, baby. See, but I'm not mad at anybody. But the Black and Brown Coalition, I'm sad to say, it never really ever existed. Remember, back in the day, they was fighting to be recognized as being white. Craig So Far says, I saw a discussion in a video on YouTube recently about the DNA of Latino people. Many of them in the comments seem to be proud of being largely Caucasian. Asked if any felt negatively about it. They're not largely Caucasian. I'm sorry to tell you this, family. They're not largely Caucasian, because see, the majority of their genetic profile is Black or African. You see, you know, the only thing is that if you can be a little light skinned, but the genes don't lie. You know, the The genes don't lie. The genes that tell on your white, fake, and black ass. The genes don't lie. And that's the only problem. But the thing is that it's kind of hard because they always want to cry the blues, and that's one of the reasons why. See, they tipped their hand 2 years ago. They tipped their hand, the so-called Browns who we was trying to help. They let it be known that we weren't really on the same path. They let us know, ever since, remember they had the big thing in California. Remember when they had those Latinos get on and those the Latino assemblymen who was in the assembly in LA, and they talked about how they was going to do things to try to hijack the black community and get only stuff for themselves, even though they may have been dark or whatever. They let you know that delineation is a thing, and that's the way it is. Delineation is everything. You see, I mean, even if you're from the Dominican Republic, if you say me no black, well, if you're no black, you're no black. Even look at Sammy Sosa. Even Sammy Sosa, for years he said me no black. And he tried to lighten himself. But have you noticed he came back? He came back home. I gotta go home. I'm tired of getting all that light makeup and that cake soap. I gotta go home. Because see, the thing is that hey, we dominate world culture. And because we dominate world culture, people get more out of being black than being, brown.
That's true. That's true. I think about the fact that black as an identifier is only real over here, even though you've got Chinese Jamaicans and other ethnicity country identifier people. So it's weird, right? Because there are no Jamaican Africans or African Jamaicans as much as there are African Americans. And then, but what is that really? So then nobody really accepted that.
And remember that Asian lady made a video a couple of years ago, and now she's claiming to be more Jamaican than the black Jamaican. Me Jamaica, me from Jamaica. Your people, from Jamaica, just because you black, be a Jamaican man no more. Me Jamaica woman, Jamaica, get out of here. And yet these people, in a sense, they did that. You see, that's what I really admire. I really admire Tariq Nasheed, and no matter what people may say about this brother, when he made up the delineation and then said that we're FBA, Foundation of Black Americans, we deserve to be recognized as a unique ethnic group because of our ethnogenesis. I think that was the most wonderful thing that ever happened, because then we could fully delineate and we could fully say, stop riding on my back, Negroes. Stop riding on my back, Negro. Stop riding on my back. Because see, these people rode on our back. And then whenever they had the opportunity, I'm from Ghana, I just got my PhD. Damn, there's plenty of Negroes with PhDs. Well, I got my master's and it's millions,
right?
Millions of black FBA people with master's degrees, tens of millions of I'm gonna say tens of millions of black people with degrees. Get out of here! What is a damn degree? That's a piece of damn paper. We got them, got 2 or 3 of them, and it's a shame when people, in a sense, want to act like it's untrue.
I have a bone to pick with you. Why are so many Jamaicans ignorant of their own history? Why so much dunce people in my comment section? Oh my God, people, stop it. The Jamaican accent is not an African dialect. The Jamaican accent, like everything associated with modern Jamaican heritage, is in fact the byproduct of the cultural melting pot that our motto embraces. In fact, in terms of cadence, it's most similar to an Irish accent.
I've been shook enough now, to be honest, since the racing. A bit tired now and the legs are like jelly, but Yeah, I suppose we did a bit of celebrating and did the podium thing and got to put on the podium pants as well.
You see, as early as 1656.
Mhm.
Now,
You know, it is so weird, but see, she don't understand that in 1630 and 1656, those were black Irish. Oliver Cromwell said, "We getting rid of these niggas."
That part.
Niggas.
That part.
Getting rid of these the doob. He's getting rid of the doob. We're gonna sing the doob. The Irish. He was black as hell. They were black, and he got their asses and sent them over there to the Caribbean. But they always talk about the blacks the Irish that came in 1800s. These Irish, they had to come there because they had, in a sense, came as mercenaries they were Catholic mercenaries that came, in a sense, from the Caucasus Mountains. They were Catholic, but they were not real black Irish. They weren't the real Irish. That's why, in a sense, that's why they didn't know how to farm, and that's why they had the potato famine and stuff. Because all the black Irish who were the farmers, they sent their asses to the Caribbean. And so, let it make sense. It makes sense when you know our history. But
it makes sense. Yes, yes.
Right? But
yes.
even that lady who you posted, she don't even know what the hell. Cheers,
With my big gulp. Oh shit. That's symbolic because 7-Eleven.
I drank my big gulp earlier. I would have got my 99 cent. The 99 cent now. 99 cent for the large. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah. You're right.
Well, no, it's your research class. I love your research class. I always come out of it with way more questions about things, but with a better understanding of where I can go to find out, right? So then we were talking, it was random, right? She was talking about her name, and then that kind of led to another
Glasgow.
Right. Mm-hmm. But then I didn't know that Doob meant black. And then, well, Dublin, people got to know geography to know Dublin, right? But then that's Welsh, right? Am I messing it up? I don't think I am. I think that's all the same area. But why would Dublin be called Dublin if Doob means black and it's no black people in Dublin right now? Not the ones that would have been Doob, right? So then it's so crazy to me, because yesterday we talked about how them people, they're very infantile. This is mine. There's no work evidence or anything. Mine. I put a stake in it. It's mine. It doesn't matter that there's other people here. It's
remember, you got to put a flag with the stick. You got to put a flag on it. And then it's yours.
And then it's yours. But then look, thinking of all the last names and how people thought that you got your last name from your slave owner. And well, no, they got their last name from you. And that family is gone now because they took it over. So it's so very interesting, because you said yesterday 200 years this is not the only time you've said it, but you reiterated 200 years on their civilizations before kaput.
It's always been like that. It's always been like that.
But this one over here, it's not kaput. It's, people keep saying it's about to be over. Party like it's 1999. 2000s was supposed to be a crash. I think even in the 1920s or 30s or something, it was supposed to be some big thing, and then nothing was supposed to happen.
The 80s was supposed to have been tectonic. It was supposed to have been tectonic breakups. Most of the continental United States was going to be underwater.
Right.
The Pacific Ocean was going to be up to Denver, but it didn't happen. Didn't happen.
It's like, are they just trying to scare us off of the land because they haven't been able to win? And people would say, well, Eve, they had y'all enslaved for however many years and y'all still got racism and white supremacy. So who's winning? And I'd be like, that's a really good point. But
see, think about this. We were enslaved. But we built a country. We built a country. I mean, I'm in this big ass house, big old house. I didn't want it. My wife wanted it. I bought it for her, And so then, but I'm still left here, and my daughter, kids come over sometime, but it's me. But I mean, it's 3 bedrooms, just a gigantic ass house. Back in the day, when you look at those shacks and all those other things that we lived in, it was different. Probably your home or your apartment is much bigger. When I grew up, it was 10 of us. But I mean, people would leave over time. But it was 10 of us in a damn apartment. 10 of us. And but as people got 18, they went away to the military or somewhere. But where's Ed at? Where did Jeannie go? But anyway.
No, that's crazy because that's well, now 10 people to an apartment is something that I see the Spanish speaking people do. You might see 12 people get out of a Hyundai, and it's like, how in the hell? Or but look, there's a house on my street right now that has like 20 cars in the driveway parking lot, not parking lot, but driveway street, just taking up a lot of space. And it's like, is it 20 people living in there? Or are you just on your hoarding, thank you, Fred Sanford, just doing the most or something? Like, I don't know what's going on. But then a lot of times it's really a bunch of different families in one house, and they're doing what we did, kinda. Like a bunch of different families. No, you said 10 people, one house. That was the same family. My family's story is the same way. A bunch of people in some small ass spot, but it's all the same people.
Well, I think about my development where I live at now, and I keep saying I'm sorry. My grandson every day I keep saying, I said I'm sorry to say this, but I see it's more buses coming out here now to pick up kids. I said it wasn't any buses picking up kids last year, you see, but it's all these buses, and the people the people who live there are still there, but it seems like to me that a lot of families, a lot of children are being forced to go back and live with their parents. I just noticed in my neighborhood out here where I live, a lot of you see a lot of kids. And you see their children who left years ago, because I've been living out
here. I get what you mean.
So I've been living out here since 2007. And so then I know they're kids, but now their kids are adults and they've got kids. Right. And so they're coming back. And it seems to a lot of people, it maybe it's talking about the rent or the situation. I mean, I think in some places the average rent is $2,000 just for a studio. I'm not talking about an apartment. I'm talking about a studio, and hell, that's a lot of money. I mean,
it is, but the immigrants is getting it, and like you said, driving around in 2025s. I mean, I've had a couple Uber drivers not speak a lick of English pick me up in a brand new electric vehicle and completely not go the right way. Got me thinking that you trying to do something crazy, but no, they really just don't speak English. They were not following the GPS. Right. There were no traffic laws or whatever. And I'm like, dude, your Siri is in Espanol. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's in Spanish and it's telling you where to go, and you missing the turn. Okay, you missed the turn again.
We not for one moment. Remember when Biden got in, he said, well, you black people, y'all got to understand that the Latinos are coming up.
Oh no, you got to clap. He said, you niggas better get it together.
And I did not know until now that he was serious as a heart attack.
Oh no, I knew that.
Is that he was bringing. He decided that he was going to help facilitate. He said, I'm going to keep these niggas down. Excuse me, family. I know a lot of y'all don't like to hear the word nigger, but I sometimes say nigger. I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm not trying to, and I know a lot of y'all feel that you should be ashamed to say nigger. but I say nigga sometimes, and I'm getting upset. But the thing is, this is that you know this man, he came out talking about, and he tried to make it true. Biden tried to make it true.
More than that, because when I started looking at the fact that there is a law in place that talks about the population and the electoral college and states and how many people start to come into a state, and then you look at how many illegals got here over the course of Joe Biden, Obama presidencies, and it's like, oh shit. And then now you add in the Justice Sotomayor lady, and it's like, oh shit, they really were going for the kill. And the kill would be to infiltrate places with people who are not us.
They were trying again. Do you know that the Caucasian has been trying for the past 400 years to replace us? And the thing is this, is that he can't replace us. See, we voluntarily went into the background. You know, we voluntarily said, okay, if you want to be the majority, we'll pretend that you're the majority. You just don't tread on me. You know, like the American dollar, don't tread on me. And so then, and the thing is this, is that we built this country, and then people say, get out. No, I'm not going to get out. I built this country. I built a country that everybody on the planet Earth wants to come and live in. Why am I going to live the country that has the mostest? Because we made it the mostest. Our inventions, you know, the telephone, the light bulb, you know, the computer chip that they're fighting about now, the resistor. We made all that shit. I'm sorry. I'm acting like I'm talking to my little kids. Yes, sir. I curse a lot, but I'm almost stop. You know. But anyway, because you know, some children might want to see this. And I don't want the children to be feeling that I'm talking like their parents, because I should be talking intellectual. You know. But again, in a sense, is that the thing is this though, is that we have to look at this. Is that we made this. But at the same time we made this place, people are always telling us that we should want to give it up, or we should want to leave it for them. No, I'm not going to leave it for you. I'm not going to leave it for you. You know, Create So Far says that I've been through some crazy experiences with Latinos in my time of living in New York City, from furious anger and pure comedy to getting it on with the ladies. Yes, I bet you have been getting it on with the ladies. Create So Far, you should be ashamed of yourself. But I hope you left them with smiles. But again, but you know, but the thing is this, is that even when I was growing up in Chicago, we always had Puerto Rican. It was some Puerto Ricans around, you know, a few Puerto Ricans around. But they weren't as nationalistic as today, you know, because you know, most of the time, like even in Chicago, over the years, many of the Puerto Ricans lived on the north side, and back in the day, the Spanish mainly lived on the southwest side. But you could always count on the Puerto Ricans voting the way Black people voted. Now it's a little bit different because of the so-called quote unquote, you know, you know, they want to, in a sense, pretend to be white. Their umbrella. She back on the island and living in some cabin. And okay, she Black, but nobody knows she Black. You know, Black. But again, you know, that's a different story. But I do believe, in the sense, is that that birthdays are important, because the fact, in the sense, is that it's your holy day. Why is it your holy day? It's your holy day because it's the day that you, it's the day that you, in a sense, you know, is able, you know, is being responsible. It's your day when you should be honored.
I agree. For the most part, birthdays, I think it should be, or we were talking about this, I think, before my stream got cut originally, and it was because my birthday falls on Mother's Day every couple years. I have a different appreciation for it. So since I could have died, and I guess you could have died too, then maybe it should be about us, right? And then, like I said earlier, I want to do it how I want to do it. And then when they get old enough to pay their way in life, then either they're going to choose to do it how we've been doing it or go their own way. But, you know, parents and children doing things different than their parents,
it's going to always be, they're going
always
to try. They're going to try to do things.
And I hope that how we do birthdays is something that they take with them, though, because they like to do the same thing that I like to do. And then we get to do stuff together. And it's like, this is cool. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to go to the trampoline park and like jump on the trampoline.
What? You with them? Okay, girl, go with your bad self.
Right? Like how long is my knees supposed to be able to do stuff like this? I don't know, but I'm gonna keep going until I can't anymore.
That's good. That's good. That's wonderful.
But look, so about birthdays though, some people, I wasn't using ChatGPT, but my AI tonight got mad because it rejected the statement that illegals don't have birthdays. But then I said, well, why do a lot of people who come here have January 1st as their birthday? And then it said, you got a good point. And I'm like, well, so it gave me some stats about 89,000 people one year had January 1st as their birthday. And these are people who are here from somewhere else. And they say that the paperwork was destroyed. But then you go and look at Tariq's feed, and that nigga's 42 years old saying that he's 16 in high school or whatever. You know, these people are not as old as they say that they are.
They don't know that. But I mean, maybe it's that maybe they like those slaves. Remember they say I remember my mother-in-law, she used to say, yeah, my mama said my mother said she was born when the birds come in, and you know they had certain events. So I mean, hey, maybe that's the way with these illegal immigrants and these other people. But the main thing is that I think the thing that I really hated is that we didn't really know that when Biden was playing up these Latinos, we did not know that he was planning in a sense to really replace us, and that he was going to do everything in his power to replace us. And that's why all these people had all these cars and all that type of stuff, and new cars, new trucks. I mean, hell, the only English words they can say is GM, Ram, you know, and it's nothing wrong with that, because see, I'm mad at nobody, because if they was able to hustle, fine. But the thing is, this is that it always kicks them in the face, because they gave them all those benefits, and then later they end up being the one that's losing out. They end up being the one in the sense who, you know, I'm talking about the Caucasians. They end up being the one in the sense who's falling behind. And you know, every time they try to set us back, yeah, they push us back about 2 steps, and then before you know, we're 5 steps ahead. So then the whole point is that they're always trying to find a way to eliminate our success, to hold back our success, when we are the people, in the sense who are the innovators. We're the people who find creative ways to be able to lift ourselves up and lift the entire race up, you know.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Asheo, actually, let's do it like that, because you made me think about the clip that I wanted to play. It's on the bottom.
You want me to show it?
Yeah. It made me think about our good brother Yoshimod, because, well, it is, I guess, in the creativity that we can express the truth. And then people might not be so mad about it, because it's like a Paul Mooney or I don't know, any comedian that might cross the line, but it's like absolutely true, like what they were talking about. So yeah, I saw this video on Tariq's page earlier today, so shout out to him, and shout out to our good brother Yoshimod, because the lady, she needs this to be playing when she does when she does her thing.
I'm calling Trump on you, you illegal motherfucker.
Wow, I'm really disappointed in you, ma'am. After all, we're both in this together. You're an oppressed group, I'm an oppressed group. You're a minority, I'm a minority. I thought we were both the same. Except, of course, you're uneducated, I'm educated. Because only an uneducated person would go straight there, express themselves the way you do. And see, you do this every day, except this time somebody had a camera and recorded you. I've been saying all along, it's going to be a long 4 years of the MAGA group hating on Latinos, but it's very disappointing when the hate also comes from the Black community. Of course, I know that not all the people in the Black community feel the way you do. I also know that not all of them are uneducated, unkind, and downright ghetto. But I digress. Pick up a book sometimes and you'll realize that you are just as oppressed as we are. In the United States, unless you look like them, you're also on the chopping block.
Well, you know, I mean, why she got her hair blonde? It's supposed to be black. She's trying to hide, you know. No, the thing is this, is that, you know, they've always made it clear that we're not going to hide. We can't run away from it. And see, that's what's made us the most powerful Black people on the planet Earth. Is that they wouldn't allow us. They wouldn't allow us to say, "Oh, you mulatto, you mestizo, you're an quatracoon, you're a coon, you're a Creole." You know, they wouldn't have never allow us to have a division among the Black people. You know, and so that we may have had our own division. Okay, she light skinned, she red bone, you know, and stuff like that. But throughout history, you know, the dark skinned Black people here, they usually married light skinned people. You know, so that's the way it's always been. Even when I was growing up, you know, most people who was dark wanted somebody light. People was light wanted somebody dark. Right. So it's always been that dichotomy here. And I think that the problem with them is that we early recognized that they wasn't going to allow us to really pretend to be anything but Black, and that's the beauty.
Yes, that takes me to the original sin of Black people, and I guess it's the Oliver Cromwell syndrome, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the words are yet, but just follow me here, because the Moors, everybody thinks that that's like a specific group of European Blacks, and I think that if people extended Moors to maybe all the Blacks that were in Europe, all the castles, all the kingdoms, all of it being Black first, and then, well, after 1492, these places are now empty, deserted, war-torn, or they lost, or whatever. You know, white people got to usurp and just take it. Here in America, our things were destroyed and then repurposed. So not kingdoms and castles that were allowed, or the ability to just be the king of this land or whatever, that didn't happen here. They took our castles and made them government buildings and churches, sometimes because the building was destroyed, or sometimes because they just went in there and said, nope, this is a church now.
See, people never think about the fact is that, how did they build these cities across the Midwest when it was no stone out here, no mountains out here? So they had to get the stone from somewhere else, and they got the stone from our castles and buildings that we had, and they just don't want to tell you about it.
Correct.
You know, but
so
they used to use our buildings as quarries. They used to build our roads. You know, it's crazy. But you know what is the craziest thing, Eve?
What's that?
Is that they found roads that are 7,000 years old. And I'm beginning to really believe that Black people had automobiles back in the day. You know, because remember they said they didn't have a horse over here, they didn't have wagons, so I really don't think the automobile is so new, but we know that from the Abydos inscriptions where they had the submarines, the helicopters, all that type of stuff, that Egyptian hieroglyph. So I mean, the history is much more deeper than we can imagine.
Well, that's it's a lot of it is because they straight whitewashed. Again, they usurped, invaded, and just took over a story that they didn't understand. They took over technology that they didn't understand. A lot of things they just took it over, and then they had their nigga in the closet, which would originally have been a Black person who, I guess the analogy would be, one of the small hat people who didn't think that they were going to end up on a train to a place that has vapors that you don't want to smell, right? Because they thought that they were special small hat wearers. But the reality was, no, you're all going on a trip on a ship that you don't want to be on and stuff. And then, a lot of people got moved from Ireland to the Caribbean. And you can listen to white people tell you their story about these kingdoms and castles and people. And then it's like, well, why were they putting white people on plantations? They weren't putting white people on plantations. Yeah. Think they're white because they told you that these people have always been white, but that's not what happened.
And then when you read Benjamin Franklin in 1751 saying everybody was Black except for the Anglos, him, and then you just say how did it all change, which it doesn't matter, but it matters, but it doesn't matter because see, it is still something about that Black European. That Black European is a very angry individual. That Black European is so cutthroaty. The Black European is just like the white European. They're all beasts. They were beasts. They were beasts back in the day. They were beasts back in the day. When you look at how they operated, you know what I mean? Damn, I can't tell if you lying or not, Clyde. So we're gonna put you on the rack and we'll stretch your ass. And then if you survive the stretching, and if you don't die, then you were telling the truth. Get out of here.
If you were a witch, we're gonna drown you or burn you. If you don't drown or burn,
and if you don't die, you wasn't. If you don't die, you wasn't a witch. You wasn't a witch.
Right.
But if you died, then you was okay, baby.
Right. Our story is so incredible.
But isn't it interesting that during the Salem witch hunt, now the people who had all these powers were the Black slaves, but they didn't kill the Black slaves as witches. They killed the white ones as witches.
It's killing the white women who were deciding that they didn't want to do something that I guess they'd always been doing. White woman independence is not our struggle at all. It's never been our struggle.
But they're scared of it. The white man, he cannot take that hardly,
Well, can you think about it though? It is the ultimate treason because not going with him means that y'all don't exist anymore. Either she's not going to do it anymore or she going to find somebody else to do it with. And then essentially the only reason we still have white people is because they've been selfish with their affection or love. Love.
I mean, my father used to always say, the one thing about that white man, he makes sure he watches that check. He makes sure he don't keep his woman away from money. And boy, that's why when Title IX came out, boy, they said, what the hell? I don't have to listen to your ass no more. I don't even have to be married. I might marry your ass, but I'm gonna divorce you and I'll take care of my own kids. And the white woman was just so free. She was so free with Title IX but Title IX came from the Civil Rights Act, and so in a way, you know, that's why the white man hate us today, is because he hates Martin Luther King, because Martin Luther King, by him getting us rights, he allowed the white woman to gain some limited freedom, and even this whole thing about abortion. Think about it. Abortion shouldn't have nothing to do with these white men, but they are the biggest advocates against abortions, want to keep states down, because they realize, yeah, that's right, the population is what keeps the country going. But but then these white women say, damn, I might have one baby, like it's a commercial. And then they say, yeah, we're gonna have, we're getting married, yeah, we're gonna have some babies. Then the woman say baby. Then the man say, we're gonna have babies. And then the woman say baby. And then the man say babies. Then the woman say baby. And so then it's this whole thing.
That is funny, because this is another video I wanted to show you, because last week when we were supposed to go live and then we didn't because, well, I was tired. It was my birthday. You talked about women being computers, and then I saw this video, and then what you just said. Check this out. And don't be mad if you're a person who doesn't have a sense of humor. Just tune the next 57 seconds out, okay? It's okay. It's gonna be all right. Especially if it's unmuted. Is it up on the screen? There it is.
Yes.
Cool.
You're incapable of being happy?
Why do you say that?
Because women with curly hair buy straight. Women with straight hair buy curly. Women with dark hair dye it blonde. Women with blonde hair dye it dark. Women with big boobs, they get a breast reduction. Women with small boobs, they get implants. I mean, you can't make that species happy. If they're light skinned, they want to get darker. There is no making them happy. They got eyebrows. They shave them off and draw new ones on. There is no making that species happy. When the Almighty created woman, He created a weird animal.
Anything else?
That last statement fire.
Anything else?
No, that's it. I mean, I'm sure there's more. Yeah.
What about men?
No, men are good.
He's right. We don't have that complication. I remember when my wife told me, I got to find myself. And I said to myself, damn, where do I fit in? I mean, where do I fit in?
Well, it's a real.
Those were some scary years, Eve.
It is scary
years.
I'm gonna tell you why.
You got to try to find herself. I've been with your ass for 20 some years.
That's the reason. That's why. Look, I'm gonna let you know right now. At my very big age, my birthday was very reflective, and it was reflective in a way that I didn't expect. Like, I kind of expected to turn up because things are going really well, like really well. And I was kind of expecting to, celebrate, but then I didn't celebrate like I thought I would. And then that kind of made me pause and think about life and things. But then in my thinking about life and things, it was like, some people don't get a chance to do some things, and then some people do, right? With children, some people, they do the one child thing, and I don't know, maybe some people want to have siblings and they want that experience or learning to share or something. There's a parenting tip in there, but maybe one child is all somebody's supposed to have. At 38, I realized that the wins, they're not gonna be everybody's wins, right? Like, my win is mine, and you might not think it's a win because it's not something you were working on, something you gave a shit about, or whatever. So then it's like, well, who gets my wins? Well, people who have the same story, people who have similar experiences and stuff, right? But these other people, they keep trying to interrupt the program You know, they want to insert themselves, tether on to steal or whatever. Here in America, there's no more castles to just take over. Like, you really gonna have to come in my house and take over, but it's gonna be a little hard to do. And they can't do that because it's not enough of them. And then the ones coming over here kind of saying, I don't want to do anything with you. Maybe I'll do something with you later. I don't know.
See, what I'm talking about is this. It's this whole thing that as a man, you've been taught by your daddy. You've been taught by your daddy that you're supposed to dominate your woman. You're supposed to get her to be submissive or whatever, you know. Okay. And yet, you married this woman. She says, I love you. I'm crazy about you. And she does everything to make you feel that she loves you. She's crazy about you. But then all of a sudden, she's saying, I want to find myself.
But you just said 20 years. 6 mini midgets running around, getting all big and eating up all the food and all this stuff, right? So to me, 20 years is a long time of doing something one way.
But it's 7 to 10. It's usually 7 to 10. Usually 7 to 10. Between 7 and 10 is when you first see that inkling, you know, of her getting restless, you know, of her feeling that she maybe had an active love life. I'm not saying that she was having sex with everybody, your wife or whatever, but you may have an active life with boyfriends and going out and dating and things like that. But then, in a sense, at the same time, after 10 years of marriage, it looks as though some women, I'm not saying all women, I don't know all women, but a lot of women I met that after 10 years, they kind of have these thoughts that come in their mind is that, what is this all about? Why am I here? What is
That's
this?
A real statement, though, because after 10 years, if you're looking at your life thinking that it's supposed to look some other kind of way, then again, your win is not a win, even though it's your win. And then you're keeping up with the Joneses, right? Or, you know, you're worried about everybody else. And I find that this birthday, again, what am I doing? Not what am I doing? I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing in the environments that I'm doing it in. But still, who am I? Am I just Eve? But I'm not just Eve. It's never just been me.
Am I just mama? Am I just his lover?
Exactly.
Am I just, you know, because a lot of times you've been conditioned. I think many women have been conditioned to feel that they're supposed to be available. What do you mean? They're supposed to be available. What do you mean?
Go ahead.
They're supposed to be available.
Period.
In other words, whatever anybody wants done, they're supposed to be available.
Right.
You know, and instead of you fixing your own plate and sitting down at the table, you're gonna fix the kids' plate and your husband's plate, maybe. Right. You know.
Right.
Instead of in a sense, you know, making sure that you have a nice place to sleep, you're going to make sure your children have a nice place to sleep, and make sure your man might have a nice place to sleep. And so then we've been conditioned as men to feel that our woman should always be taking care of us, but at the same time, your daddy and told you're supposed to dominate, you know, like playing football, dominate. But then deep down you say, he ain't dominating shit. He ain't running, mama. What the hell is this?
The math ain't mathing.
The math ain't math. That's your favorite. You made it. The math ain't mathing. And yet at the same time, we're supposed to make this real. And so then I'll never forget when my wife said that. And then I was thinking, I didn't want to be stupid. So I just said, damn, where do I fit in? You know, I bet let's see what it's in, you know. I mean, how I felt if I start asking too many questions, I might make her start thinking, I don't need that old nigger right there.
I mean, maybe that might be a really good point, because I don't think that those questions are for anyone other than the person else. Right. And then trying to give them or help them with the answer can be off-putting, right? Because they're really just talking or thinking out loud, but not really, because there's a whole person right there. But then don't really
one of my white colleagues told me years ago.
What's that?
One of my white colleagues, we was talking, and I was saying blah 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 blah. She said, "That's your problem as a man." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Y'all always want to fix everything. Stop wanting to fix it. Why don't you just go along with the program?" I said, if we tell you something, you feel you got to fix it or it's got to be, can't you just listen? And I said, damn, is she right? And she was right. I mean, if you tell us the slightest thing, damn, I wonder what to do. What baby, what do you want me to do to make it better? No, you're just talking. But we feel, what are we supposed to do to make it right?
Right.
So
it's crazy. Do y'all hear, it's like Charlie Brown teacher thing, instead of the womp womp, y'all are hearing like a baby cry, like how we hear a baby cry. And it's like, okay, is it hungry cry, wet cry, need attention cry, whatever it is, do whatever it is to make it stop crying. And then y'all are doing the same thing. Y'all hear us and it's like, I can get no. Make it stop.
No, it's worse than that. Is that a real man learns that he shouldn't even try to figure you out. A real man learns is that if you want to have a successful marriage, don't try to figure your wife out or your significant other out, because you're never going to figure them out. Don't argue with your significant other unless you feel like arguing, because your mind, you're always thinking ahead, so you know exactly what he's going to answer, and then you're going to have a counter answer. So the man going to lose the argument no matter what. And so then I found over the years is that a smart man just be quiet, and then it'll end, maybe. But the thing is, this is
if
that
she feels heard, don't you know?
Yeah, there you go. If she feels heard, but it is that is the most scariest time in my life, and I didn't know what to do, and so those two things, her when she said that to me, and when my white colleague said y'all want to fix everything, and y'all, that's all y'all do is you want to fix it. Just let me talk. Just let me talk. I don't want you to fix nothing. Just because it sounds like there's a problem, I'm not asking you to fix it. I'm asking you, male, listen to me. And we're saying, woman, I hear you, but can I help you? And then you're saying, no, I didn't ask for any help. I want you to just listen. And this is where the problem comes in. It's very hard for men to listen. It's very hard for us to listen because we want to fix it. And I didn't know it until we talked about this. And and she was so right that as a man, we always want to fix everything. And some things don't need fixing, just need listening. What? Fixing, listening? Yaza.
Taking it back. I read a study a while back that talked about the amount of words that people speak in a day. And it said that men speak, and this is generally speaking, middle-aged men speak 3,000 less words a day than middle-aged women. And then outside of that age group, it's, I guess, about the same amount of words between the two genders. But I wonder if that 20 minutes of extra talking, if it's just her shooting the shit, gossiping, talking to her girls, her parents or something, or if it's talking to her man and he's just sitting there like, okay, it's going to be over soon. Okay. Yep. Yes, honey. Okay. Yep. Whatever, honey-do list or whatever. But if society is conditioning us to act these certain ways, men to be dominant, beat her over the head and drag her into the cave, and that's yo woman now, then each generation's trying to do it better, right? You've got soft men, whatever that's supposed to mean. Men who do the makeup for their daughters. Have you seen those videos?
Yeah.
Like they're the nail salon tech. They're dressing up with their daughter in tutus and taking pictures, and I'm like, that's a little gay.
Something wrong with him, but I always feel something had to be wrong with in my mind. Something has to be wrong with that person. But then I do know, but there are some people who just like that, but they're not gay though.
Right. Because there's men.
But as a rule, you don't want that. You don't want that person to be existing because you feel she's not part of the program. she is an outliner, and and we refuse. But I think that's the hardest thing. And when that white lady told me that, and I said, damn, is she right? She's right. Why won't I let you just talk? Why I gotta fix everything? You're just talking to me about something that hurt you or a problem. Then I went back to my auntie when I was a kid, and I said, "Why are you crying?" And she said, "Just wait a minute." And then when she got to the ground, I said, "I'm a woman. I can cry when I get ready." But I forgot that later in life that a woman can just do what the hell she want to do. It doesn't mean in the sense that she don't love you or she don't care about you. But see, we don't even understand what love is because, we believe that love is domination, love is submission, love in a sense is being able to evaluate. When love is not an evaluation process, and yet everybody's always trying to evaluate. They're trying to make judgments. I think that's those people in those relationships, they don't last because see, sometimes I'm gonna wake up in the morning, my breath's gonna stink, and I'm sorry, but it's gonna smell,
That's funny. What's
your inspiration? Oh my God. How was your day today?
Oh my goodness, it was hectic. Yeah, I lost a nail.
Is this your mommy?
Well, sort of. I call her mommy.
I'd whip that man's ass.
Everyone to question the quality of your work.
Because you're not being careful. Because you're not being careful. So that's not my fault.
Are we gonna get this one fixed? Yes or no?
That would be extra. You have to take care of yourself.
Oh, girl, I'm trying.
Just do your best, Dad. How's it, mothers? What's your inspiration?
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
And he's not the only one. I believe that he's married to an Asian woman. So that's why his daughter looks like how she looks. And
that's why he could do it with an Asian woman. The sister would say, "Nigga, what?"
That's not true because I saw another one. I couldn't find it in time for.
Well, I'm gonna claim that she was a tether.
Okay, well then, let's just do that. But
I don't know. It's probably some FBAs who would go along with it. But the thing is this is that it's it depends on where you come from, what you want to do. But I do believe in a sense is that we want the standard, and there is no standard. And see, that's the thing that breaks your heart, Eve, is that you want to believe that there's a standard. We want to believe that there is the wife. This is the wife. There's the wife. But then for some reason, your wife, you say, damn, she don't act like the wife. She act like a human being. That's what you're saying in your mind, that she's acting like a human being, and human beings have varied feelings. Human beings have various ideas. But you don't want to believe that because a wife is supposed to be a wife. And so then, you have to, in a sense, reach a point where you have to be a freelancer. What I mean by a freelancer is that. A freelancer, he'll write stuff or she'll write stuff, and they'll go around and they'll wait and they'll sell it. And then once they sell it and it's published, they'll be okay. And that's how you have to be as a man or woman, is that you have to be a freelancer in the sense is that you have to, in a sense, not try to make your woman or your man a generic woman or a generic man. They have to always understand that your woman, your man is a special person who has their own ideas, their own in a sense progression, their own way of living. And this is the thing that makes you afraid. As a man, it makes you afraid because you don't want that. You want to feel in the sense that you're in control. And then when your woman says, you know what? I was thinking about this. What the hell? And then you say to yourself, what the hell is you thinking about that for? It's silly. I'm laughing with you. See, I can laugh with you because see, I have my wife, my baby doll, she's gone. So I have nobody who I have to answer to. And so then we can talk like this. And that's the beauty. And I think that's one of the reasons why you would asked me years ago, let's go, let's do this thing, is that you felt that you could ask me these questions. And maybe I would answer them, or maybe we would go in that direction. But the thing is that it is very difficult for a man to really accept the fact that his wife is not in a sense his child, is not his baby. We call you baby, but you're not a baby, you see. And this is the thing in a sense that most men have a difficulty in understanding, except when they need your help. What do you mean you need my help? Yes, we often need to lean on somebody. And that's why I always saw my woman as a tree, in the sense is that she was strong and that she was somebody who I could lean on, I could get knowledge from, I can, in a sense, maybe grow with. And
That's deep, because white people don't like trees, but
they don't. They hate them.
Honey, we shall go and strut our stuff today. Be sure to come along to the picnic, Bess. Laugh and sing and dance for two instead of one. No wrinkle on your brow, no how, because the sorrow past is all done. Oh, best, my best, the real happiness is just
I'm not going to tell you a lie. That's how I felt about a woman. Ride or die, baby.
Look,
I remember
people probably they're not going to get it, but that's why it's a reality check. And while we were talking about birthdays, I thought
ride or die. It's ride or die. I mean, that's how you feel in the sense is that, your man is not perfect, your woman is not perfect, but that's your man, that's your woman. And then it's that whole idea of coming back, you know, and so then you see it's that I look back at my mom and my dad and I say, damn, I mean, they never told you they loved you, and your grandma. And and then I talked to other people, their parents never did, but you saw the love, you saw the thing. And so then a lot of us growing up, that words were not, we felt that words were not enough. A lot of times, in a sense, we felt that if you love me, then you got to show me. And often if you can't show me, well, maybe we might have to call it quits. I don't know. I don't know. Because I want my baby doll. I want it then. I want it now.
But that's the thing. It's like if that is the case, your win is your win, right? Yeah. And then you should celebrate your wins. I find that it's too many people trying to take other people's wins. They're mad at the circumstances around their own wins. Maybe life is not life in the way they wanted it to. And then it's like, well, shit, what am I doing here? Who am I? I've been doing this for so long or whatever, but
we got to find some music to fall in love. Marvin Gaye, Leon Ware, Jimmy Jam. We got to find some music to fall in love.
That's not wrong, Crates. You're not wrong.
What's your favorite song? What's your and your man's favorite song?
Oh, I don't know if we have a favorite song together as much as our tastes in music are very, 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 very well. Me and my wife. No, I lied. Our favorite song right now is, I think, a tie between FBA Roots and The G and Me by Dead Prez, because our children are performing it in the talent show, and they're doing a really good job. So I think those are our two favorite songs right now. But outside of that, those aren't love songs.
Well, our favorite songs were "Cowboys and Girls," and what was the other one? It was, but Cowboys and Girls. I remember when we used to beat them up, shoot them up, bang bang, baby. I remember, and so that was it. But the thing is, this is that I'm very happy that I know love. Some people sadly they don't know love, and I'm very happy that I know love, and I'm very happy that I allowed my wife to be her natural self, because my father made me feel that you should be trying to be the boss and dominate and all that type of shit. Like they say in football, dominate. That's only on the field, baby. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can do it in the bedroom, right? And then you can do it in life, and then you might.
But the bedroom is not enough. That's easy. That's easy if you have good concentration. It's easy to dominate in the bedroom. But see, the thing is that you want to dominate at a real man wants to dominate your mind, and the only way they can dominate your mind, they could F your brains out. I mean, hey, that's cool, but I mean, damn, how many people have been good in the bedroom and their wives still divorce them? So that doesn't matter, because see, the thing is that I learned at an early age is that sex and love for a woman is mental. Sex and love for a man is physical, you see. So because that's why, that explains why women who not being sexually satisfied will stay with their man and be crazy about his ass, but they're never getting satisfied right away. But if they, stay together, maybe eventually. But the thing is this, so that's not enough. It's not enough. And see, that's the whole point that I looked at movies and movies, books. These are things that made me think that was what life was all about. But then I found out that life was not that simple. Not that simple. But I loved that movie that you showed. I loved that. Because see, I just felt rather die. I felt because see, when we were growing up, we were Black Power and we didn't think we were going to live we thought we was going to get killed in the revolution. The revolution has come. It's time to pick up the gun. Bam! That was just, you know, I mean, damn. And so I mean, we didn't think we was gonna live. So we felt that you had to love hard, and you had to, in a sense, make sure that you loved hard, because tomorrow wasn't in a sense granted. You might not live to see tomorrow. Now I'm 74 years old. I was like, what the fuck? Excuse me. What the hell is this? How did I get here?
Loved too hard. It's like Sinners when you sing extra soulful and you open that portal.
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't have sang so hard. Look at what you done brought back with you from the other side.
The one that but then they had the sister who was a vampire. She had to, you know, she had to kill me, because she wasn't gonna let them she wasn't gonna let them get the music. She wasn't gonna let them get the soul, baby.
Yeah.
And this is the way it is that it's do or die. But the beauty is this, is that you can't keep them from everything, but you can try. You know. And I don't know what the hell is this? It's birthdays. What?
No,
Eve,
that's
why did you get me off the subject? I'm gonna blame,
it's still the conversation.
blame it on the woman. Why you got me off the subject, Eve?
Hey, y'all know by now, you know, we've been doing this for a good little while. If it seems off topic, that just means you got to hit that playback, because you probably missed it. And I don't think we've been off as much as, you know, it's just real deep tonight. And Annie not wanting to roam forever, you know, she got to have her last birthday, you know. People who didn't die from a stake to the heart, you know, the Michael B. Jordan twin that ended up being with the white girl, you know, he said that he died that day because he couldn't.
No, she wasn't. Remember, she wasn't white. She's mixed.
Oh, all right.
White, but she was a white girl. But anyway.
But still, you know, it was a lot of birth and rebirth or death, and you know, birthdays. Again, I've had a very complicated relationship with birthdays, but as I've grown older, I find that if I haven't done or accomplished what I set out to do last year, then maybe I shouldn't be celebrating so hard. People go through all of this hoopla because it's their birthday, but then it's like, well, what did you do last year that's giving you all this celebration? And it's
I think you accomplished a lot last year.
Well, and I told you, like, when we started, I thought we was about to party because I was about to turn up because this has been a really good year. And not that it's been a really good year, because there's been some shit going on. You know, enough of y'all know about shit, but it didn't happen like that. And I actually have a lot to celebrate, but it was reflective, and it really kind of put me back on my square of, you know, be intentional, you know, set some goals, you know, make sure that we're knocking these things off as the year is concluding or progressing. And then when it's birthday time, well, yes, it's time to party because we did XYZ. This upcoming birthday, the year before I turn 30, if I make it, it'll be a lot more to celebrate because of all the work that I've been doing. And I'm very excited about, you know, being able to harvest from all of the work, metaphorically and physically. So, you know, birthdays, I think we should be hard on ourselves on our birthday, because too many people didn't get a chance to celebrate that probably should have been able to. You know, like, this person did XYZ for our cause, right? But then they're dead. Nobody knows about them anymore. My sister posted this, and I guess it's the last thing I'm gonna say, at 11:11 Eastern Standard Time. My sister posted a happy birthday, and she posted this today too. Happy birthday to all of my Facebook friends, or all of our Facebook friends that stopped posting because they died and we just didn't know. And I was like, oh shit. there's probably a whole bunch of people who people are not in contact with anymore because they're not here anymore. And y'all wasn't cool enough to be like one of the list of contact people. Make sure Eve knows that if I die, you know, like that's not going to happen for the majority of y'all's Facebook friends. But still, you know, some people really were doing things and they're not getting recognition, but here you are. You made it to 40. That's a good reason to go pop bottles in the club and spend money that you probably should have been putting towards some sort of retirement because there's no.
So true. You're so right. You're so practical. But then at the same time, that's why we have birthdays so we can.
I'm saying, right? Like, so I get it. It's like it's an accomplishment, but then it's like, I don't know. We don't do holidays like most people anyway, because why one day is the day that you show me that you care or love me? Why is it one day? The whole year is set up off this one day. If I be good all year, then I might get 2 things on this list that you can't afford. So what are you about to go do to try to make this make sense? It's too much.
I'll tell you this is that in the real world, if you don't make your lady feel she's loved, at least once or twice a week, you're not going to keep her, because the thing is that y'all are not just satisfied by Mother's Day, and just because or Valentine's Day,
right? You go all out on Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, and then ignore her ass for the whole year. She's going to leave you mentally and physically. She's gonna start going to the gym. She's gonna start reading books you ain't never heard of. She's gonna take a language class, talk about some. She's going to Japan or something. Or she says she's going to Amsterdam.
No, not Amsterdam. And if you go to the Caribbean, don't go to the beach. You know, but my son, my knee baby, you know, the knee baby is the one next to the youngest. But my knee baby, he had traveled a lot. He stayed at a lot of those resorts, like in Mexico and Dominican Republic and all that. He go to a lot of places. Him and his wife, they like to travel. But you know, like they're on a cruise right now. So I said, just send me a picture of the ocean and the nighttime. He said, you could have been here. I said, I didn't want to go on the boat. I haven't been on the boat since I went with your mama, so I don't want to go on the boat now. He said, is it because of mom not being here? I said, nah, just don't. I don't know. You know, a boat makes me feel like I can't leave. I can go to a casino and I can leave. I can go here and I can leave.
You're not
go
going
to a restaurant and leave. That's right. And that boat, I am stuck there.
You're going around in a circle.
And you know, but the thing is that if you haven't been on a cruise, and when you go up on that deck at night, and it is just so black, and then you like it when you go into a port and it's night, because then you see the ships and you see the lights and all that type of shit. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's like I said, I told him that I'm not going this year, but next year I go with him on a cruise. Said okay, you know, he was gonna pay for it too. So, but I mean, say forget it. I didn't want to go. You know,
you're gonna go next year.
Yeah, I'll go next year. But like I told him, is that I can't. You know, it's a casino on the boat, and I don't have money to go to that casino and a casino in Vegas too. I don't have that type of money.
Oh, he's gonna get you that spending money. Don't you worry.
That's what he said. You know, but I said, you know,
got him right.
You know, I said, okay. But the thing is, that's the beauty of it. That's why I say love on. Let your woman be your woman and be yourself. Let your man be your man. But you do have to, in a sense, sometimes you have to understand, in the sense that we have to love. Did you have any final comments?
No, just happy to be back. I'm sorry that it's taken so long for us to do the thing that we do, but school's almost over, y'all. We just finished some science fair projects and got this play to get through, and then, well, summer.
Yeah, and your daughter's in the play, so that's cool.
Look, all 5 of them are in the play.
Oh wow!
It's gonna be insane. Gonna get you that link so that you can.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'll check it out. You said it's going to be visual.
Yeah. They're gonna stream it, so that'll be fun. But no, thank y'all for tonight. It was cool to come back.
Thank you. Our identity and our culture as Black foundational Americans. Yes. Wars between Black Indians and whites were manufactured to produce Black slaves for whites. The English, the French, and the Dutch provided the Native Americans with guns, rum, and cheap goods to purchase Native American Indian slaves. Between 1670 and 1720, many Black Native Americans were enslaved. The Black Native Americans were sold into slavery throughout the 13 colonies, Mississippi Valley, Canada, and the British West Indies. The majority of Black Native Americans sold into slavery by whites and Indians. Slave traders were the Choctaw, the Yamasee, and other Carolina tribes. Yes. Many of these tribes, like the Mandi, Mandinga, many of these tribes, we lost their names. And their names have been lost to history because of the fact, in a sense, that when the European came, as he conquered these Black Indians, he just made them slaves. And so over time, in a sense, their nations disappeared. Over time, in a sense, their history wasn't recorded. Over time, they were even able to deny that Aboriginal Blacks even existed in America. They wanted to give our Aboriginal ancestors gifts. And the only problem with the gifts that they gave us was that often these blankets that they gave us carried smallpox. Yes, diseases. They also, in a sense, gave us another gift, rum, fire water. And this rum caused an addiction among us. In a sense, it led to a demand for guns because it incentivized Indian slave trading. Yes, the first slaves sold in America were Indians, Black Indians, selling other Black Indians to Europeans to work on their cotton, not on their cotton plantations, their tobacco plantations, their rice plantations. Yes. We sold each other over here, just like in Africa, because of the fact is that we failed to understand that we are one. We should be united based upon our identity and our culture as Black foundational Americans. Yes. Reparations, baby, reparations. We deserve reparations. We deserve reparations like yesterday, not just today. No, not just today. We deserve our reparations. Give us our money, baby. Cut the check.
Cut the check, Black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less, remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for resilience. Cut the check, Black first because it's brilliant. People talk too much. Say less, remain on code, follow the spirit. When the going gets tough, it's time for.
The only thing that can save you is be one. To fight